Why do successful people still feel insecure? Why does one small criticism undo years of achievement? Why do some people need to flaunt everything they own while others hide? The answer isn't in their bank account. It's not in their resume. It's in something much deeper. Most of the contradictions we see in adults today can be traced back to one thing: the wounded inner child. And here's the part we don't talk about enough. Not everybody is wounded because a parent was absent. Sometimes people are wounded because the parents were too present, too doting, too protective. The complexities run deep. And most men don't even know they're broken. Think about the child who was born after years of waiting. The miracle baby. The child of promise. When that child grows up with parents who never say no, who overprotect, who give everything something happens, they grow up never understanding the reality of life. They become narcissistic. They think the world owes them something. This is why wealthy people often raise children who can't sustain their legacy. They were too sheltered. They never learned the ethics of their parents. The goal isn't to parent based on what was missing in your childhood. The goal is to parent based on what's actually healthy. Because if you parent from your pain, you'll either repeat it or overcompensate so hard you create new problems. Here's something you see everywhere if you look. If you grew up in a broken family, if your father and mother used to fight, if the neighbors knew your shame, that shame was public. So when you finally make it, when you finally escape, your recovery also has to be public. That's why some people join their secondary school WhatsApp groups just to flaunt. They were the poor kid. Now they've made it. They need everyone to know. But here's the hard question. Why do you need to prove a point? If you can't enjoy a moment without making it public, you are broken. Because whoever can validate you can also break you. I know people who have never attended another person's birthday. Why? Because they don't know what to do with themselves when someone else is being celebrated. The spotlight must always be on them. The attention must always flow their way. And if it doesn't, they feel invisible. They feel worthless. This is the mark of someone whose identity was never built from the inside. It was built from external validation. And external validation is a drug. You always need the next hit. Here's the thing about trauma. When tragedy happens, you cope. You develop mechanisms to survive. And those mechanisms work. They keep you alive. The child who is bullied for stuttering learns to withdraw. That withdrawal keeps them safe. It becomes a coping mechanism. But years later, that same withdrawal pushes away people who love them. Their wife says, "I don't understand you." Their children say, "Daddy doesn't love us." The coping mechanism that saved them as a child is now destroying them as an adult. This is the nature of trauma. It continues to serve you until it no longer serves you. At some point you have to say, "Thank you, trauma, for helping me survive. But I don't need you anymore." Some people can never rest. They work and work and work. They build and build and build. And everyone praises their work ethic. But underneath, they're running. They're hiding. They can't be still with themselves. Why? Because they learned early that love was conditional. When they brought home good grades, they were loved. When they failed, they were rejected. So they became performers. They tied their worth to what they produced. And now, even in relationships, they keep performing. They keep providing. They keep giving because deep down, they don't believe anyone could love them just for being. If you're doing anything that diminishes you just to get love, that's not love. That's transaction. Here's something we don't talk about enough. The power that men hold is scary. A man can father 100 children in a year if he wants to be irresponsible. A woman cannot. That's biology. So when a man is broken, when he's operating from pain, when he's unhealed, he doesn't just hurt himself. He hurts women. He hurts children. He hurts generations. A broken man marries a woman and can't love her the way she deserves. The children become defective. The cycle continues. This is why conversations like this matter. Because if we can heal men, we heal families. If we heal families, we heal society. So what does a healed man look like? First, he's worked through his pain. He knows his past wounds. He's dealt with them. He's not bleeding on the people he loves. Second, he manages his pressure. He has systems. He has brothers who carry some of the weight. He doesn't put pressure on his wife because women weren't built for that. Third, he understands pleasure, not as escape, not as validation, but as reward, as Sabbath, as rest after work. Fourth, he's moving toward potential. He's asking, what can I become? Fifth, he's living in purpose. His life benefits others. When he's gone, people will cry, not because they're broke, but because they felt whole when he was around. Sixth, he has capacity. Like the father of the prodigal son, he can say, you wasted half my wealth. I still love you. I have capacity for your mistakes. Seventh, he's at peace. He has power, authority, resources, but he's calm. He's a prince of peace. Every day, he shows up and makes his people better. He doesn't break them. He doesn't lose himself. This journey is hard. It's hard because it was never modeled for most of us. We don't know where to start. But we start with awareness. We start with conversation. We start with honesty. If you're a man watching this, ask yourself, am I living from pain? Am I performing for love? Am I running from silence? The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. The goal is healing. And it starts today.